Why would you want to be bearish on the market when Warren Buffett is entering long on Google at all-time highs? Somebody tell me what I've been telling everybody to do. Buy the dip, right? I told you guys to remain bullish into weakness. I told you guys to buy the dip. It worked out really well. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at why I was so adamantly bullish. And we're also going to take a look at what the next steps are for the market. So we're going to take a look at the large tech stocks, the SP500, the NASDAQ, the Russell, the VIX, the crypto market. And we're going to put everything all together like we have been. And then we're going to get a good conclusion of what the next steps are for the market. All right. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And let's get started. First and foremost, we're going to take a look at the VIX. All right. We've been monitoring the VIX because it has an inverse relationship to the market. If the VIX falls, if the VIX starts to fall, that means the market should rise. Nice and simple. So I drew out these levels on the VIX in the last video. And I described that if the VIX dropped below 22, it would see $20 support. So this was very clear overextension to the upside on the VIX. When something is very overextended to the upside, as we can see according to the Bollinger Band, right? The price wants to usually revert back inside. So if the VIX wants to revert back inside, if it wants to drop, because it has an inverse relationship, that means the overall market ends up bouncing. And that's exactly what ended up occurring. So we used the VIX's overextension, and we used the fact that the VIX was going to drop to help lean long in the overall market. And it worked out very, very well. So that is first and foremost. Next, we're going to simply take a look at all of the large tech stocks. First and foremost, we're going to take a look at Apple. It's very important to monitor these large tech stocks because they are the main movers of the market. What they do helps determine the overall trajectory of the market. And what we were monitoring on Apple, guys, is that Apple was holding 266 while the market was dropping and making new lows. Oh my God, so much weakness. Apple held 266. Oh my God. When you see a large tech stock holding support this well, it's very, very difficult to remain bearish. It's very difficult to become bearish when Apple was doing this well. Okay, so now what did we end up seeing on Apple? Almost new highs. We're almost at new all-time highs on Apple, guys. All because we were monitoring how Apple was doing. It allowed us to also lean long in the overall market. We have to look at multiple different factors. The more factors and the more different indicators of whether we should be long or short, the more in our favor, the better. So Apple holding 266, breaking above 270, holding above 270. That's why we see a $5 move today out of Apple. Worked out really, really well. So now moving forward, do I want to be bearish on Apple here? Technically, we are at a level of resistance. This is new all-time high. This is almost at all-time highs. We're like a rock's throw away from all-time highs. If we did want to get a pullback, it could end up occurring, but we need to see 272 continue to hold as support on Apple. And if that does, we should see 280, 290 very, very soon on Apple, in my opinion. It's right around the corner. Apple still looks really, really strong. What is this right now? This is a bull flag. This is still a bull flag. Bull flags are extremely bullish patterns where we've just been consolidating. That's really it. So now is Apple going to break out? Let's see. It does look like it. This is a daily time frame of Amazon. We also have to look at what Amazon is doing because essentially it's also one of the large tech stocks. Amazon holding 215, showing a lot of overextensions to the downside. Starting to show a bottom is one aspect and one factor of the market that we had to look at. So with Amazon creating a bit of a bottom at a major level of support, That really, really helped us also go long, okay? That's why today we ended up breaking clean above 220. And now we are looking to retest 230. And this is where the fun can really begin. Like, as long as Amazon can hold above 223, 224, there's so much upside potential. There's a lot of upside room on Amazon. This is very, very difficult to start being bearish after such a large move down. Do you want to go short on a small pop? This is just a small pop in the grand scheme of things. Amazon is down 17% from the highs. We've only bounced about 5. Is this now the time we want to go short? No, there's so much upside potential on Amazon. There's a lot of upside room. So please be careful about being overly bearish. It's much easier, much safer to look for good long opportunities. That's what we were doing. We saw Amazon bottoming out, held resistance. Now, 230, 235 is definitely right around the corner on Amazon. Daily time frame of Tesla. We were looking at Tesla at 380, right? I was saying that I was very bullish on Tesla. As long as 400, that level between 380 to 400, as long as that held, we were very bullish on Tesla. What ended up happening today? Tesla's up almost $30. Tesla is up almost $30, guys. We are bullish on Tesla. Does this look like a time where you want to go short? No, this is a spot where bulls want to start taking control. We're going to see if bulls can take control. Major level of resistance is at 430. If we break above 430, this is going to end up easily seeing 440, 445. And then it could be off to the races. And once again, what is this on Tesla right now? This is a bull flag. Bull flags are extremely bullish patterns. Similar situation to Apple. Held the lows. Apple is obviously at the highs, but Tesla is doing its thing. It's trying to hold support. It's bouncing. Up 7% today. Do you want to be bearish on Tesla? On a 7% move intraday? Absolutely not. Daily time frame of Microsoft. Microsoft made new lows, dropped to 470, one of the weaker stocks, but it held at a level of support at 470. The strength in Microsoft did not permeate, the strength of the market in general did not permeate into Microsoft properly, okay? But what we're seeing right now is Microsoft is trying to hold above 470. Sometimes that's all you can really ask for. Holding 470, doing its thing, it's trying to maintain, right? And what do we know? Recently, in like the past year, since April, May, etc., Microsoft was the biggest winner in a complete and utter uptrend. Really, really strong. So now it's coming back to 470. Doesn't need to always be the winner, but sometimes holding a major level of support does the job. What are we seeing right now? This is a hammer candle at a low. Generally, this is really trying to bottom itself out here. It might consolidate a bit longer, but overall, it's really trying to bottom out. And this could be a good buying opportunity soon on Microsoft. Google, I told you to remain bullish on Google. Why would you want to be bearish on the market when Warren Buffett is entering long on Google at all-time highs? Does that make sense? Does that make sense to be bearish on the market when Warren Buffett is entering long at all-time highs? Look at where Google is now. We were talking about Google in 270s. Google is at 320. All because of what? Oh, this is Google is too overextended. Oh, we have to get a pullback. Oh, a healthy pullback. It should come back, and we should get a pullback. And you want to trade against? Once Warren Buffett enters any company, it could be any company, hedge funds, banks, people are going to put so much money behind whatever stock he's entering because it's Warren Buffett. The fact that he entered a $1 trillion company, Google, at all-time highs, with all of the upside potential that Google has in terms of AI, YouTube, everything that Google does. Why? Why would you not look at the fact that he's entering here as a good opportunity to have bullish glasses on? It was one of the clearest signs to look and remain bullish. If Warren Buffett is bullish, Are you fucking Warren Buffett? No. Okay? So it's so much easier. I don't know why people ended up being bearish. It didn't make any sense. I was really trying my best to have people on the right side of the market. I tried to really explain. Many people listened. Many people in the group made a ton of money. We bought the dip in the overall market phenomenally. We've been absolutely crushing it. I share all of my day trades, my swing trades. Every single trade that I take and enter and exit, I share it in the group. People are very happy. We're on the right side of the market. I hope you guys are also on the right side of the market. If you guys want access to all of my trades, all of my analysis, my indicators, everything, the link to join is down below. And regardless, we've been on the right side of the market. And if you want to make money and you want to make trading easier for yourself, join the group. That's all I have to say. Google was a clear-cut winner. One of the easiest variables of the market to remain bullish. Daily time frame of Netflix. I was explaining how when something shows extreme weakness, sometimes it's a good buying opportunity. What happened? Netflix is up 3%. It jumped, it held the lows, and it bounced. We were trading outside of the lower level of the Bollinger Band. Okay? The market in general, the SPY, the NASDAQ, it was trying to bottom out. But what was Netflix doing? It was making new lows. This was a bear trap. This was a clear-cut bear trap. I even described, guys, the fact that Netflix is doing this is actually bullish. Go back to my last YouTube video. I said that this would be bullish. What ended up happening? We bounced. This is bullish, okay? It's a sign of a reversal. If Netflix can hold above 108, major resistance here at 108, 109. If it breaks above that, then it's off to the races. Lots of upside potential on Netflix. Can't argue. You cannot argue with that. Netflix is bottoming itself out. Next, let's go ahead and take a look at Meta, okay? Meta. What were we talking about Meta? We were monitoring Meta on the daily time frame as a good precursor of what could end up happening in the market. Was Meta breaking below all of these levels of support? No. It held 580. The fact that it held 580, the fact that it came back down to these trend lines, all of these levels of support, resistance, uptrend, downtrend, it was a confluence of so many levels of support. What ended up happening? We bounced up $20 on Meta today, up over 3%. Now we're at 615. We still have room to 630, 640. There's so much upside potential here. It works out sometimes. It's super simple. Sometimes we overcomplicate things. But this is a really good sign for the overall market that one of the losers that was consolidating here ended up also bouncing really well. Okay? Keep that in mind. As a whole, so far, what have we seen as a whole in all of these large tech stocks? Things are either almost at all-time highs or they're holding support and starting to bounce. Those are really good signs. We have not seen any tech stock paint huge red candles. Okay? Because sometimes there are times when, a couple of stocks are doing well and a couple of stocks are doing terrible. This bounce that we saw today was not one of those times. We did not see any large tech stocks so far paint a very bearish candle. Okay? And of course, let's go ahead and take a look at the chip stocks. All right? What are the chips doing? They showed a lot of oversold aggression to the downside. 180 held as support on NVIDIA. NVIDIA held 180 like a champ. We wicked down lower into the 170s. Look at this large wick. But then we wicked back up and closed here. This is very bullish, okay? And then what ended up happening afterward? Bullish day. Bullish continuation day. Let's simply look at AMD, okay? AMD. Similar situation to what Netflix was doing. Showed extreme weakness outside of the lower bands here. Sometimes extreme weakness is a great buying opportunity. Coupled with extreme weakness, number one, on AMD. Extreme weakness on AMD. Number two, a hammer candle at the lows. A hammer candle at the lows shows a potential reversal in the trend. What ended up happening today? AMD is up almost 6% for the day. change in trend. Okay, hammer candle, overextension to the downside, led to a nice bounce. You cannot argue with this. And AMD showing this much weakness was such a great sign that the weakness was not going to continue. While the other rest of the market was showing strength or holding support, what is AMD going to pull the market down, make new lows? No, this was a bear trap. And then to top it off, where did AMD hold? This gap up. We looked at all of this together, guys. We looked at all of this together. What more is there? What more is there? That's why it was so easy to lean long today. We did not take one single short. It was so easy to lean long. And we made so much money. We leaned long. We made so much money, guys. What else? I tried to tell you guys. What else do I need to do, man? Can't argue with it. I can't force anyone to do this stuff. You know, you guys are grown. Everyone is a grown man at the end of the day. Can't force anyone to make any decisions. But the best I could do is I could explain my thought process, and I back my words up with facts. That's it. Next, let's go ahead and take a look at the NASDAQ, the QQQ, right? This is a chart of the NASDAQ futures. Broke above 24,900. Okay? Huge upside bounce today. Obviously, the biggest winner. Up almost 3% for the day. The QQQ is up almost 3% for the day. Does that, like, can someone please, like, drop a comment and say, you called it. I was long. Not only was I long, I went long. I shared the exact trades that we took in the Discord server. I shared when we entered long. We entered long down here. Okay, we entered long down here. And look what ended up happening. We bounced 3%. Can't argue with that. One of the reasons why we opened outside the lower level of the Bollinger Bands, painted a nice green candle at the lows, overextended to the downside. Large tech stocks started to bottom out, show strength. The VIX was overextended to the upside, led to a pullback. So many bullish reasons to be bullish in the market. And we played it perfectly. Take a look at the S&P 500, the ES. Same concept. What ended up happening on the ES here? Same concept. Same concept. What do you want? What do you want here? Same concept. We opened outside the lower level of the Bollinger Bands. We are at 6,700. We held 66. We bulldozed above 6,600. We held above 66,500. And now we closed above 67. Technically, we are at a major level of resistance on the S&P 500. This high here, major resistance. Okay? Can we get a bit of a pullback into tomorrow? Sure, by all means. Is this where bears want to start leaning short? Yes. Are we going to get a major pullback now or make a brand new fresh low? Probably not. I don't really think so. But this is definitely going to be where a lot of people start to try to go short because we bulldozed into a major level of resistance. You don't want to start leaning long here. I would rather lean long at pullbacks for a continued move higher. Regardless, though, this is definitely a major level of resistance here. 67.50, 67.30. All this is major resistance. So keep that in mind. Overall, really strong follow through today on the S&P and the NASDAQ. But to top it off, let's go ahead and take a look at the IWM because the IWM was one of the big winners. All right, so the IWM on the 21st on Friday was up almost 3%. While the rest of the market was not doing, it was up maybe 1%, 1.5%. The IWM was up 3%.
No way.
So today we got a continued move to the upside. The IWM stopped right at resistance here at 240. Stopped right at resistance. That's okay. We had a huge bounce in the past couple of days. It's up almost 5% in the past couple of days. That's all right. So now the IWM essentially needs to hold above 236, 237 for a continued move to the upside. Very simple. That's really it for the overall stock market. We looked at so many different variables together. Day in and day out, we are doing all of this together. Describing why I'm bullish. Describing when is the best time to enter, how much money to put, how your contract sizing should be, what expiration date you should enter, etc., etc. We've been absolutely killing it. So we can't really argue with the results. And once again, if you guys want access, the link to join is in my bio. The link to join at, in my Discord server to gain access to all of my day trades, swing trades, my trading view indicators, all of that is there. So if you guys want access, that's, once again, make trading easier for yourself. And with that being said, we looked at all of the stock market to really, really wrap things up and get a good gauge of everything as a whole. We have to take a look at the crypto market, okay? So what we're seeing right now is Bitcoin is holding 86. 86,000 on Bitcoin is a very, very major level of support. As we can see, clear as day, massive support level. We had hammer candles down here, doji candles at the lows led to a bounce. Spectacular. 90K, 92, this whole area right here is where Bitcoin is going to then make a decision. Is this actually going to be a continued rip, or is this going to be a resistance level for a new low? Bitcoin definitely has a bit more room to go, but it really needs to break above levels of resistance. It's definitely way weaker than the other large tech stocks. But the fact that the large tech stocks are doing so well, it could be a good sign for Bitcoin and crypto in general. When we look at Ethereum, same concept. It needs to break above 31, 3,200. It held 28. Awesome. I was saying 2,800 could even be tested, but now it needs to break back above 32. This is once again going to be a spot where people are going to have to make a decision, and to make a decision whether or not we're going to make new highs or new lows. That we're getting to a very, very important spot on crypto, and of course Solana as well. We're getting to a very, very important area on all of crypto. We're right at a major level of resistance. The SP500 and the IWM are also right at a major level of resistance. Crypto still has more room to go, but the S&P and the IWM right at major resistance. Is that going to affect the overall market? Maybe. So we have to keep that in mind as well. But there's definitely a lot of upside potential in crypto in general. I'm very, very bullish on every dip. In the short term, I don't care. We could drop to 120, 100. The more weak, the better the buying opportunity, in my opinion. Crypto, in general, amazing long opportunity for a long-term investment. Every dip, all weakness is a good buying opportunity, in my opinion. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Do all that good stuff. I don't know what else to say. Love you guys. Have a good one. Take care.